Coffee. Can't start without this. But I hit the button, so that just means it's go time. How you guys doing? So today we have a Lexus GS300. It's a little bit of an older model Lexus. Get my light out of the way so you can see it. So in this lovely blue, which is nice to just kind of, finally we have some color. Back window, quarters, front doors, it's all very similar to like the, is that an LS 450? What was that? The gold one. We did a gold one a little while back. It's just like that one, or at least there's so many similarities that if you didn't show me, if you didn't show me the numbers, I would have thought they're the same car. I don't remember. Probably some thicker defrosters. I don't know. We'll see. How you guys doing? Finally got the measurements on the building, 5,800 square feet for $1,200 a month with utilities. Where is that? How do you come across something like that? That's insane. That's like ridiculously cheap for that. I mean, for example, around here, people are paying anywhere from $9 to like $12 a square foot per year. So like, you got to multiply that and then divide it, and then you can figure out your monthly cost. But that like here, 3,300 square feet a month at $9 a square foot, it's $2,400 a month. So you got a bigger space with utilities, which I don't have, and yeah, that sounds pretty freaking awesome, man. You got all sorts of stuff. You got all sorts of stuff to play around with there. That's great. Close the video about aliens to watch this? Well, I'm glad we beat out aliens, I guess. I was looking into like engraving a little bit ago. What are your thoughts on Helios, Nova, and Supernova? I know a while back you said you use this stuff. I've been using it for a while, but I have problems getting it to shrink to the back window. So I know there's been some changes, and last I used the Supernova, it was totally fine. As far as Nova, I think we have to go to their website here. Let me just make sure. Can we do this? I was also trying to figure out about horizon lock with my GoPro. Tools, fusion tools. Flat glass tools. Shop now. Where's their film? I mean, I know they got this, but I was just trying to find it in there. Okay, Nova and Supernova, and then Avery, Denison, NR, Helios, Orbit. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Orbits, that's their color stable. This is their nanocarbon, and then this is their ceramic. So I've used the recent iteration of the ceramic, which is Supernova. As far as the carbon goes, I don't know if it's been changed recently, but some of these carbon films can shrink a little bit slower and a little bit funny. I'd have to get some to pick it up, or just ask Rick if it's still the same type of stuff. But overall, they generally shrink smoother, but they were like a slow shrink. You had to put some more heat on it, and it was just kind of an easygoing thing. I'm not exactly sure what to tell you, but know that when you get into carbons and ceramics, they can definitely shrink a little bit slower, and they're a little bit more finicky of a material to play around with, especially when you got some like bends and stuff in it, and you're trying to press little imperfections and stuff out. They're not as forgivable. They're starting to get that way. The C2 is pretty good, and the shrinking was really improved on that. I think, versus some of the older carbons for sure, but they take time. Quick question before we get started. What do you think about what do you think about Lexan? What tape do you use in the frames? What plastic? Just let's get them all out of the way so that way when people join in the middle of it, I have to repeat myself. Do you prefer Platinum Easy Reach or the blue/pink Tri-Edge? Ooh, I will use I'll use the Tri-Edges before I use an Easy Reach. I used to love using an Easy Reach. I use that thing all the time. But I don't use it near as much anymore. Wait 1 second. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? Yeah, sure. What kind of vehicle? Okay. We've done quite a few of those. Were you looking for the full thing with the windshield or without? Without the windshield? Okay. We have a couple of different film types available. We have a color stable dyed, carbon film, and also a ceramic. Was there anything you were already shopping around for? Okay. Well, they all have the same shades. So we'll have like a 5, a 20, a 35, and a 50. The biggest difference is going to be added heat rejection. So the higher you go, the more infrared heat that you block out of the vehicle. But I can give you a quick rundown on it. So did you want to do just the sides and the back, or did you want to do a full windshield with that? Everything but the windshield. Okay. Well, it would start at $240 for that vehicle. That's in the color stable dyed. It would be $320 for our carbon, and then $450 for the ceramic. Yeah, no problem. Just let us know if you want to schedule. All right. Have a good one. All right. See, it happens to me too, guys. I get lots of price shopping. I don't know why. It's not looking on the watch. I'm kind of into. Oh
simple.
my God!
It's the fact that you don't need to buy the Max Lens mod to get.
Stop. Wow, I don't know how long that was going on for. That's super annoying. Take off a headphone and put it back on, and it starts auto-playing video. Oh, so not for very long. I was trying to figure out some stuff with the GoPro, but I'm still messing around with it. Greetings from Chile. Question, is Geoshield the only material you use? It is. It's pretty much exclusively the film that I use right now. I've been very happy with it. I've used quite a few films in the past, but I kind of like to keep most of the films under like one specific thing, but if I ever felt like there was a stronger option in a different film type, I'd mix and match them. But I haven't had a reason to yet, so yes, everything right now is in Geo. But back to the question of easy reaches versus tri-edges. That's a good one. We can actually get started, and I can walk over and I can show you guys. So with the tri-edges, they're like, I use them all over the place. And on the side seals, on the bottom, on so many windows, and for touch-ups and stuff. And then as for the easy reaches, I use them only once in a while, and I can explain why. Check. All right, now we're good. Okay, cool. So I turned on something called Horizon Lock, so you're not going to see my head bobble as much. So what I'm hoping is that kind of smooths out some stuff, but you'll see. If I, like, do this, it, like, so I don't know if I'm going to keep it on or not. We'll kind of play around with it. Plus, it also zooms in a little bit more. So I just want to play around with this setting a little bit more, see if we can get some smoother video out of this. So as for the, so lots of tri-edges and easy reaches, I don't know, they're kind of scattered around here. I'm not exactly sure where I put them. I only had a handful of them, so that kind of tells you right there. So this is the Blue Frog. This is an easy reach. but it's a more slidey material. And then these are tri-edges. I just wanted to get some contrasting colors here. This is the Tint Wiz one. So these come in a variety of flavors, and you'll see me use them on most things. The reason why I don't use the Easy Reaches as much, even though I think they get in better, like they get in tighter spots, they'll generally squeegee out a little bit smoother, but you'll scratch your film way more often with one of these. So you'll use it for like a short little while, then all of a sudden, scratch, scratch, scratch. So you have to keep either sanding them or buying new ones, where the tri-edges are just little workhorses. And you'll get a lot of use out of them. You can still like wear out a tri-edge and scratch, but it'll last a lot longer, and they also have like a smooth it tool to help with some of that. I can already tell a difference. Is it a good difference, or is it a bad difference? As long as I like keep my head, I think fairly level, but I mean, I have some bobble room. I just don't like how, watch, all of a sudden I'll turn, and then it'll be like, wah! I like that. I had that lock in, didn't have that on, did this Mustang and flip video, watch it on a phone upright, drove me nuts. Oh, you mean like it flipped your video and then you were filming in the wrong orientation entirely? That can happen. Horizon lock is an interesting feature, but I mean, I thought you should be able to completely rotate the GoPro like 360 and it still stays level. But the unique thing is I'm not recording, and I don't know if it does the same thing with HDMI out or not. So I was looking to see if there was a way to adjust settings, and then they have a mod. They have what they call the Max Lens mod, and I didn't know if I needed something like that, so I was just looking into the whole thing. Looks like that's just an ultra wide angle, which I definitely don't want. Unless I could do an ultra wide angle and then crop in on it a little bit. I don't know. We're locking ourselves out already. It's definitely cleaner and crispy. Well, that's good to hear. I guess as long as it doesn't just like, whoa. But it is pushed in a little bit too. So it's not as wide, and we'll see if that's a bad thing. I've never liked ultra wide angles, but for the sake of like trying to show what you're doing close up, it's kind of my only option here. You have to go wide because we still gotta actually do work. No windshield. No windshield on this one actually. So the title's a lie. Full vehicle. Nope. How do you deal with cars that have lots of fuzzy dog hair? It can definitely be a problem. There's not really, I don't really have a great answer for you other than don't drag it along any panels. Because, I mean, you can actually tint around quite a bit, and it doesn't really impact your tint because of like how you're carrying it and like where you're placing the film. Stuff can also always like work its way in from the sides, but hopefully that's not an issue. Like what you're gonna see, for example, on this one, like look at all this. We got some dead bugs. We got the panel that's pushed all the way this way. You know, it's all kinds of fuzzy down here, and it's dirty. How are we gonna keep that clean? When you get into cars, no, don't do that. Crap. I hate when that tape does that. It is not sticking. Oh, that's why. That's weird. Usually we don't have any sticking problems with this, but it's having a hard time grabbing the edge a little bit. I think I have to get different tape anyways. We're almost out. We're almost out of the tuck tape. Have you looked into the new DJI? Yeah, I saw that pop up. That's gonna be a no for me. It's cool that they're trying to revolutionize the industry again with something that Insta360 already did. But I don't know. Most of the footage that I saw was not good. I take what a lot of the friggin' videographer, like, you know, they all drop the videos at the exact same time. I know they say that they're not sponsored to do those videos, but, like, good Lord. The amount of, like, well, yeah, it's a great camera, and yeah, the quality is amazing, and it's like, then you look at the footage, it's all outdoors, which should tell you one thing. These cameras are not made for indoors. Like, they're not as good in low light. But even the outdoor stuff, it didn't really look that good. And all the little extra features that they like, you know, it's like a modular system. For those of you that didn't see the camera, which I'm assuming is quite a few people, it's like a little modular system and 32 gigabytes of memory space, and then you got to put the battery bank on it. It's definitely not made for what I do, for sure. So I just need the highest quality, most stable camera available, and the GoPro 10 finally pushed that a little bit farther with whatever new sensor that they're using on this one. It does look cleaner when you bump it up to 1080, 60. So, but as far as like everything else goes, it's I wish there was something else, but there's not. I always keep an eye out for them, though. But, like, when Insta360 came out with, like, their really teeny tiny camera, it's like a little white pill-shaped looking camera. There were so many people that were like, everybody put out their videos on the same day. Everybody was talking it up like, oh, yeah, this thing's awesome. And then you look at all the footage, and okay, so here's the full screen right here. And then all the footage that was posted from some of the creators was like this big. Why? Because that makes the footage look cleaner. It's like they don't want to say anything bad about the company because they're afraid of getting like ghosted or something. This edge here, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a lot of dirt in there. Let's try and clean it out a little bit. Usually we get some stickage right away. Oh yeah, that's not pretty. But I bought this one. I bought the 10 as soon as it came out. I did the same thing with the 9. And I returned the 9 because I didn't think the 9 was any improvement over the 8, hardly at all. Well, like, if anything, it looked worse, and I don't know why that was the case. But now with the 10, it's legitimately better. 60 frames per second is actually now 60 frames per second, where before, I don't know, like, I put it at 60 frames per second on the 8, and then I look at it compared to this, and this looks smoother than that. So, I don't know. That's me on my camera rambles. Now, if only GoPro could make a wireless utility. I was so excited when they announced, like, GoPro webcam mode. So, like, when you, like, there's people that have these cameras, and then, you know, live streaming is more of a thing. So people that sit on their desk, they could make the GoPro plug into the computer, and then you can wirelessly, or you can connect it and use it as, like, a primary camera or a secondary camera. And that sounded really cool, but it's over USB, and they had like 7 million issues with it. It's just like, oh, Lord. But I can connect and preview this camera on my phone for whatever reason, but there's no way to do that on a PC. I wish you could just, like, they had a desktop app that you could just connect to and then plug that into OBS and then literally do this without all this crazy headgear or issues. What's a proper way to get a quote for your services? Oh, you can call us. We do have, like, if you go to the Detroit Tint Studio website, we also have a quote thingy. So you just fill out a little info, and then we'll get back to you on that. Or you can ask me right now. That's totally cool. What do you got? I have a lot of time with this one. I actually already burned up some of that time before even going live. I was eating some Doritos and trying to figure out some extra things. Oh, it was right here the whole time. I usually don't have any food here at all. And then I saw I have 2 bags of Doritos. And I was like, oh, yay. Snacks. Into wintertime. I have a Toyota Sienna. I have no tint on the front doors. Oh, yeah, that's pretty standard. I just got a Sienna, too. What year do you got? So you're looking for tint just on the front doors? Looking to get those 2 windows tinted. Oh, okay, yeah, we do that all the time. It's front windows start at 100, so that's in the color stable dyed film. We also have a ceramic and a carbon film. The carbon would be 130, and the ceramic would be 160. I think I gotta change that though. I think I gotta do 150 and 200, because 130 and 160 I think is a little outdated. But for you, that's fine. These guys right here. 2004 XLE. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep, $100 per door. No, sorry, no, it would be for both. I mean, per door sounds great for me, but no, I wouldn't do that to you. So usually takes up to an hour. Try and have it done a little bit sooner, but usually up to an hour. Okay, so let's turn this guy on here. Let's not. That was a bad impression of the dash camera that they have in here. I gotta get one for my van. Okay, so we're gonna do 35. Ooh, we're gonna make sure that doesn't do that. We're a little bit cautious about this tape on the side. Probably just some extra dirt mixed with the unique old rubber. Surprised it didn't stick more aggressively, but yeah, it was pretty loose. For both, that's decent. You're welcome. I think so too. We're definitely not the cheapest. But I'm not the most expensive either. Maybe I should be. I don't know. I still know. I still know where I stand. So when you get people calling that have no idea, they're like, oh, I've never seen him before. Or catch me on YouTube, that usually helps. But when they call around, it's like, generally if they've already called a couple other shops. So, okay, 35. You got rid of the Ford SUV? I did. Yeah, we sold it a little while back. We've been driving with only the Blazer until recently, and then we got a 22 Sienna, so living the dad life. I like that thing. The thing is like a living room. Could you show how you double cut it? Yeah, for sure. Is that tuck tape? Yeah, actually half this car is tuck tape and half this car is Lowe's tape. Soccer dad. Oh, come on. Hang on one second. Sorry, I don't know what happened. There we go. Okay. Well, that's just a thing. Steven, you're funny. Have you tinted it yet? Oh, you did a video on it. Are you even subscribed? Aren't you a mod? That's cool. Been too busy deleting spam, probably, then. I hope this fits. Oh, wow, just barely. Oh, man. These are your regular dumb tall windows here. Okay, so double cutting. You just mirror your patterns. That's all you're doing. The trick is, the tricky part about it is it's now double the thickness. So however you get your patterns on is up to you. And then you flip one. So I'll usually have the tint side facing the glass and also the tint side facing me. That's more for convenience than anything. You can do it other. You can do it either way. I just like to do it this way more for convenience than anything. I thought it was a customer vehicle. Oh, okay. Well, you're excused. No, I appreciate the group. I still snipe out some spam, but it's funny. Most of the time, you guys already have everything handled, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll go do something else. But I haven't seen near the amount of spam that we used to have in the group, so that's good. That's real good. Trying to figure out how far over I want to do this. Okay, so sorry, we're skipping through it a little bit. I should have cut my bottom edge first, but then I just did the side. It's not that big of a deal. But cut a bottom edge, cut a side edge, shift it over. Everything is literally like cutting out any other single window. It's just you have 2 layers of film. So the trickiest part is that, like I said, there's double the thickness here. So you're going to inevitably, like, it's harder to feel the side edges depending on the type of window that you're dealing with. So some of them will just be very, it's mostly like, I don't know, what, Honda. some Toyota. It's just some different vehicles. They'll put like, just like a real slim seal on it, and they'll make it really wide. And before you know it, you're cutting into the seal rather than cutting on the glass. And you're like, oh, I need to be careful. I feel like these things are pretty damn curved too. Oh my God, that's a lot. Okay, well, we'll just figure out how to deal with that. Hopefully I pulled it over far enough. So everything's extra slippery right now. Today's doesn't feel like my day, but we'll give it a good job, and hopefully we won't have too much of a headache for it. There we go. Yeah, wow, that's got a lot of curve to it. So let's roll it down. So shrinking these, gonna have to pay a little more attention to. Doesn't really look like it. I mean, to me, they look like regular doors until you get your blade in there. Cut it, squeegee it out. What window film's the easiest to work with? I feel like that's a, I don't know. That's a, so the easiest type is gonna be like one of their color stable dyed films. People jump right into like a carbon or a ceramic film. The problem is they're just less shrinking friendly, and sometimes touch-ups can be a little pain. You're gonna have hard times with all the films though. So there isn't any one particular film that I could tell you to get that's just gonna make your life easy. And like you'll see me use any number of films here, and then you'll go to try and do it yourself, and you'll just have all types of problems. That just comes with being new. So find yourself a good 1.5 mil dyed film. Practice with that. You'll save a little bit more money that way. And just know that's about as easy as it gets for practice. I have a 2015 Focus. I completed the sides and the back. Is that a hatch? A hatchback Focus or a non-hatchback? Nice job. And then tried to do the windshield, creased it. Always creases near the bottom. Geoshield Pro Nano Classic. Wait, they don't have a Pro Nano Classic. They have a Pro Nano and they have a Pro Classic. Pro Nano Classic does not exist. Did you get their ceramic or did you get their Pro Classic? There's a big difference in just what it is. The hatchback, nice. It was just really funny. The Pro Nano Classic. It's like I got a color stable dyed ceramic thing. I don't know. No, I love it. It's like when people call my carbon film carbon fiber. It's just like, yeah, sure. Well, okay, so the windshield's going to be a lot different than that back window for sure. There is some shrinking on that hatch. It's not near as much as the mountain of shrinking that you need to do on like the windshield. And really, the Focus kind of has like, good God, look at this bubble. This is crazy. I should have charged more for this. This is like a bug. It's not that bad, but like, holy shit. This looks like a regular door, and then you get some film on it, and you're like, what the hell am I actually dealing with? So, as for the focus, it's tough to say because it's like your first vehicle. Keep practicing, but you're gonna have some problems trying to shrink a full windshield. That has a bigger windshield too. It's pretty tall. Like the Escape and the Focus, for whatever reason, have like really tall windshields. I am shocked. I almost want to shrink part at the top and part at the bottom, but good lord. I'm practicing with 3M FX High Performance. High Performance? Is that a metallized film? Practicing double cutting with 3M FX High Performance. So I know their FX line is like their base, but then high performance usually means like it's metallized. That would also make it not super fun. Because, again, when you start adding some of those things into it, it just gets tougher and tougher. Like, some of the materials have gotten more user-friendly for shrinking, but high performance will block out extra heat too. Metallized, but just in general, I don't know for sure if it is or not, but I'm just saying. When you get into that kind of stuff, it'll just make it harder to work with. That's all. So there's always little extra things. Is that pocket shrinking or snap shrinking? So when I lift the film up, I don't know. It's more snap shrinking than anything. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't consider it pocket shrinking, but there's a little bit of both going on. So when I like blowing air up underneath it, that's kind of like pocket shrinking. But so what's happening here is the water is going to keep your film from shrinking. That's why I don't really like, that's why I choose not to wet shrink back windows. But on a door, there's not a lot that needs to be shrunk. So I can't really squeegee down this whole window and get like most of the water out and then shrink it. It's not happening. So I'm pulling it away, I'm heating it up, and then I'm sweeping down part of it. This one is just a big shocker for me, actually. Like, there's a lot that needs to be shrunk on this thing. I'm not going to say it's like the same as a vat, but good lord. So I'm just going to try and make sure I got it as good as I can before we go to install it. This part has me the most concerned because you don't want to see something like that jet up. So we gotta even that out a little bit more. We're getting there though. And then also, when you're like half wet, half dry shrinking, you can get spots in the film to just stick. where most of the time it stays wet, but as it dries out, like you have to kind of spray it down again, or you risk just creasing the film. Does it matter that the window's not rolled up all the way? No, it doesn't. If it's down a little bit, it's totally fine. Because you can't get all the film on the glass anyways while you're shrinking it. So the idea is like you get as much film on the door, but it's all cut to overlap all your sides. So then when you go and do this, and it's all on the inside, and you're squeegeeing it out, and then you check all your edges, you check the sides and whatnot, and you lock it all down. You don't want to see anything like popping over on the sides, popping over on the bottom. You don't want to see any of that. But we're probably going to have it just a little bit. Another thing to do is like not force so much to be shrunk only at the bottom, but you could shrink the top and then the bottom. I just like to kind of stick to the way I usually do it, not have a bunch of waves all at the top. So just get all that to the bottom, but hey, it's up to you. All right. So I can't really see what I'm doing on stream until like after the fact. So we punched in the video a little bit, and we're playing with a feature called Horizon Lock. So it stops this little head bobble back and forth. But if I tilt my head too far, it seems to be annoying. But what I'm hoping is that it just kind of keeps everything a lot more level, but at the expense of having to punch into the video, so it's not as wide, which will also make it not look as curved, so that's kind of good. Is that the Blue Max? No. No, this is a hybrid. So, I would have much rather had the other Lexus right now, I think. I don't know, I'm just surprised. Very curved front doors. What I'm hoping is that we don't have a gigantic finger still on the inside. That would be no fun. And or any other random crap that ruins my day. What time is it? 1:30. We got plenty of time with this though, so that's nice. I think I have a generous amount of soap in my bottle too. Oh yeah. I should remember, so this is a reminder for myself, there is so much shrinking that all this is warm. So really, I should kind of just chill out for a minute and not do anything with this door until it's had a little bit of time to cool off. That way I don't have the film blocking anywhere I don't want it to. So I think we're gonna do that. I think we're just gonna let it sit for a minute, and then we can worry about like cutting the back doors. So we're doing 35 on this whole thing. We'll look at these back windows. These ones, do they pop out in any way? No, these go straight up and down. Okay, these ones should be easy peasy. There it is, my 35. I wonder if we can do the same magic on these doors that we did on the front. How often do you joyride the cars? Never. I've had literally zero interest in ever joyriding a customer vehicle. Same thing if there's like cash sitting in the cup holder or any of that. Dang it.
Daniel Rayner
Rayner.
super chatted $9.99. Magandu Umaga Master at Kuya Big Boss Tinter.
Daniel Reyna, thank you for the 10 as always. I'm doing good, how are you? The fog machines should have gone off, but I think the software, I was in the middle of an update and I forgot I was in the middle of an update. So I gotta finish that update. I got distracted with my GoPro. See this one? This one is really normal. This one doesn't have near the curve that the front one does. I don't really know why the front one does. So this is also a 36. And you can see we only have about an inch or more of film at the top. So these are pretty dang tall. When you get into older cars, you see that a lot. Taller windows on regular sedans, and then they kind of made them a little bit shorter some later years. Come on, just a sliver, just a sliver. Cut, 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 cut. Oh, somebody asked what blades. So for the knife, I use NT cutter, stainless steel. And then for the razor blades, like the 1-inch ones, you can use pretty much any 1-inch razor blades. You don't need to worry about stainless or carbon for those. You're scraping the surface, you're not gonna scratch it. Some people say you do. But not in the same way. Would NR charcoal 2-ply or the economy 2-ply black dyed be easier to shrink? I don't know. Sounds like either of them would be a good option. They have a helpful chat. You can just ask them. They would probably be pretty similar, but it's like you'd have to try both of them, and I don't know. But you're looking in the right place there. So as far as like easier to shrink, really just means it's going to be a little quicker. It's going to have the same weird quirks though. So like it's not going to be like it should be pretty smooth and like even, but you still have like, you know, when it starts shrinking on you, you can still easily burn it or mess it up or whatever. So, but I get it. Give yourself the best shot that you possibly can. You know, if I leave these sitting on just a tint liner rather than anything else, it works really well. It doesn't stick at all to tint liners. So if you want to wrap it up at the end of the day and put it back in the box in a tint liner. The other option is like install a piece of tint at the top and the bottom of like the Glass-Aid clay bar box, and then it'll stick less. But they always stick to like a lot of things. I've noticed that with every single clay bar too. I wish it didn't, but it does. Use the wrap backing paper. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like a wax paper type material? Yeah. What do you guys think? Is this okay? I have to like go. I want to go back in my stream and just like watch it really quick and see what happened with this door. Okay, let's take her scrubby. So, we're giving ourselves every chance to do this one right the first time. We're doing dyed. We are going with the Pro Classic. We did carbon on his front doors on an older truck, and then for this one, it's just I think a little bit too expensive. So we're doing color stable. I don't remember what vehicle we did. Oh yeah, we did an even older Lexus. I don't know if I did that one on stream though. But he had an old Lexus that I did, like an old coupe Lexus that was very clean. We might have done that one in carbon, but this one we are not. All right. Cross your fingers real hard. We spent a lot of time shrinking this one. If you pulled the panels, I'm going to say you probably have to shrink this one. Oh, I'm sorry. All my tools have clay bar residue. I hate it. Yeah, it'll stick to the tool plastic, so you can't really even leave them. Don't leave the clay bar sitting on your tools. I have that on like some of mine. And it's really easy too, but you gotta teach yourself to set them on like, I'll usually have like a wet rag or something, like a damp rag, and I'll just kind of like leave it resting on that while I'm working, and then at the end of the day I gotta put it somewhere else. Is Geo Pro Classic any good? Yes, definitely. I'd hope so if you ordered it. I mean, I'd hate to just order it and then have it be junk. But yeah, all their stuff is, well, I say all their stuff. V-Nano, I haven't tried. So I can't say all their stuff because I haven't tried all of it. But I'd take their word for it on that one. But as far as films go, yeah, Pro Classic, that's what we're doing on this one right now. Some people are really against color stable. I don't think there's a problem with color stable. See that? See these little fingers jutting down right there? Still,
Mike
with all the
Davis
extra
super
shrinking that we
chatted
did, it's not.
$10. How many shades and rolls of
Hey!
film should someone just start with? Thanks again for all the info and tips.
Thank you. 1 second. I'm concerned. How often do I have to do that? Shows you how curved this whole top edge was. It's like a kind of more extreme curve on like this part of the window, but then when you combine it with like what it's doing everywhere else, it's like, oh, this is a curved window. What is that? Mike with the 10, thank you. How many shades and rolls of film should someone start with? Thanks again for all the tips and info. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the 10, sir. I appreciate that. It's up to you, but what I would suggest is whatever you can afford within reason for a better quality film. You can even do half rolls. So don't stress out too much. If you've practiced, you kind of get the handle on, you know, the general idea of how to tint a car. Then you can start moving into something a little bit like more premium, or just like, you know, you feel more confident going into something like, I might mess up some windows, but I'll get it done. So at that point, for like a regular stock, at minimum, I would do like half rolls of 5, 20, and 35 in a 36-inch size. And then I would also, if your budget allows, add 20s or 24s to that. So if you can do 20s or 24s, preferably like for trucks, you're gonna want 24s. Like some trucks, you're gonna want 24s, but preferably both. But if you had to choose between the one, get 24s. That way it'll cover like F-250s and then bigger, newer trucks, like the GMCs, GM Silverados, Sierras, and all those good ones.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, it's not for you. And then from there, so that's one film. From there, you can get like a 50%. You can start buying like some of the more unique shades too, based on demand. So it's like most people that come to you are gonna be looking for like, you know, whatever the staples are in your area. So here, you gotta have 5, 20, and 35. And then I just don't do as much 35, or sorry, I don't do as much 50. So like I could go a while without doing 50%, and most people will just do it on a windshield, but sometimes it'll sit for a while. So get the main shades, and then look into adding something like we good? Okay, cool. Wow, I think we got it. How about that? That's cool. We actually tinted a window. But yeah, so from there you can move into like a carbon and a ceramic. And then again, you can do half rolls of them. I would recommend trying to add those in as early as you can. But, you know, it's the type of thing, if you have to pick one film, get whatever you think you're going to install the most of, and then start with like your 3 main shades, and then add to it. And then from there, add some shorter rolls, and then from there, add your different film types. I think that's probably one of the best ways to go. Why not just get 40s? So I'd still recommend the same. Like, so with the 40, you're not really going to be able to do, I mean, you can do truck windows, and like we do that sometimes, where you flip it sideways. But I think for a lot of people, you get way more front door matches than you do like full cars. Like, it's just, there's so many front doors. So it's good to just have the shorter rolls available so there's less waste in the beginning. And like whatever you install will add up really quickly, so you can start buying some of those extra rolls and shades and difference. Like put what you make back into the business and then keep going from there. So, I don't know. I always shied away from only carrying like 40s. But they're actually really friendly for some plotter systems. So if you're using a plotter, that's not a bad idea. But if you're not using a plotter, 36s, 24s, they're a good way to go. We're just going to do these one by one. Just work our way around the car. Have a nice, good old day. Do you automatically add 20% gratuity to the bill? No. No, everything's kind of just in the prices. If you want to put like a tip jar or the option to like leave a tip, I think that's totally fine. It's a service industry. And when you really impress people or somebody's got a little bit more of a disposable income and you took care of them, then sometimes like if you're the guy that did the work and you talk to the customer, sometimes they'll just throw you a tip anyways. I've never gotten a tip without talking to the customer though. So if you're in the back of a shop and you don't ever talk to customers, it was very, very rare that I ever got a tip that way. But if I actually went out and spent a little time with the customer, more often than not, I would start to get a tip from that. And every once in a while I get a tip here, but I don't really make it a thing. What's up, Tim Pro? How you doing? Great squeegee. I got one last week. Nice. Very nice. Oh, we got a Canon. We gotta do one more thing. This. Oh, it should have worked. Oh, why didn't it? That's weird. So for both of those, woo! Daniel, Raina, and Mike. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that a lot. Chillin'. Yeah, I'm trying to take it easy too. Wow. I don't know why that just did that. It must have been something I said. I used to use it, but I don't use it anymore. I had like a frustrating morning for no good reason. It's like, I don't know, it happens quite a bit, off and on. Just finished another C6. I hate C6. I hear that frustration. And then somebody talks about them in the group, and then everybody's like, easy money. It's like, okay, shut up. But it's good that you got it, rather than throwing away a bunch of film and not. But hey, I hear ya. I have a long list of those cars. But I don't know. So I'm trying to film some just like extra videos. And what's cool is if I hit record on this camera and actually use it for its intended purpose, it looks better than the live stream. And I can record in like higher resolutions and just little things like that. So better detail and whatnot. And I was doing like this 03 3500. And like, it's not a hard truck to do. It's just got the edge that pops out the side. And for the life of me, I just kept screwing up patterns. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm just done right now. It's annoying. And it gets really annoying when that happens. And like, just like weird stuff begins to happen. I swear, it's like most of the time when I hit record. But it's happened a fair amount in the background when I'm trying to just be extra particular, and it's like, there's just some days I'm over it. What? I'm gonna get it 20% in the front two, in the back 50 on the windshield. Nice. Does the clay get rid of dirt specks? It helps clean a lot more. So like it'll scrub out the top edge a lot more. It will pick up little specks, but it's like it'll also kind of leave a slurry behind. It's really just good for like kind of, it works a little differently than a scrub pad does, but it's similar in other ways. Hey, there it is.
Justin Rowe super chatted $4.99.
Justin!
Thanks for the info. I started with carbon and I have trouble shrinking rear windows. Takes a couple tries. I think I will order some 2-ply black.
Nice. Thank you so much for that super. Justin with the 5, I appreciate that. Yeah, man, try a couple of different, like, try a different film. Like, you have the idea of shrinking. That's awesome. You mess up some windows. Now branch out and just, like, try a different film. And then see how that compares to what you're doing. That's a really good way to learn everything. Whoa. Let's not insult my my super chats here, bud. Okay, pal. You know what's really hard to do is to get clean car sounds without a bunch of people screaming or horrific background noise. I used an aggressive Scotch-Brite and it scratched a window. Yikes. I've seen it. I've thankfully never done it. I've worked around enough people that have made those mistakes. I've broken some windows, though. I've, like, made my own fair share of mistakes, but when you work with other people, I mean, sometimes you let them try the things first. Or, like, you just hear something, you're like, oh, uh-oh, I'm glad that wasn't me. Yeah, so if you just go grab, like, any scrub pads and any Scotch-Brite, you'll scratch the hell out of a window. You have to get, like, scratch-free ones. I mean, that's what's kind of funny is, like, you might look at it and go, like, oh, it's, like, plastic versus glass. Glass will be stronger. It's like, not exactly. I've actually scratched windows. I should bring this up, too. So you'll often see me use a gator blade. You can absolutely scratch a window with this. Be careful. It's generally from, like, letting it get a little worn out, and then you shove it into, like, dirty seals, and then you just... That's how I... That cost me, like, $550 on a BRZ. Not fun. Non-question tinting. Who do you have winning in this weekend's big game? What big game? Is it like a Super Bowl or something? I'm not a sports person. I don't follow it at all. The most was like hockey. And I still can appreciate hockey, but I haven't paid attention to hockey in a while either. Oh, Michigan versus Michigan. I thought Super Bowl's like February or something. I might at least know that much. I have no idea. I don't care.
Jose78 Rios super chatted $9.99. Good afternoon, have questions but forgot what. Smiley face. Good to see you again. Let's tint some windows. Have good afternoon everyone and safe work. People break houses with heating gun.
What? Jose, thank you for the 10. Let's tint some windows. Have a good afternoon everyone. Safe work. People break houses with heating gun. What? Who's breaking windows? Thank you for the 10. I hope you're doing good, man. Let's see. I don't think we'll be able to get quarter windows out of this back window. I think we might have to do a plotter thing for that. Maybe we should just do the whole back on a plotter. We'll just keep doing doors, and then we'll get to the quarter windows, and then we'll see what happens. I think that'll be the game plan there. Man, you don't like hockey? Well, hockey is something that my family used to follow pretty closely. And like we were watching like every Red Wings game. And then when I was growing up, what was cool was Red Wings were actually winning quite a bit. Like they won the Stanley Cup like 2 years in a row. That was pretty awesome. And then they'd put out like Hockey Town videos, and we'd watch those over and over again. And we had a lot of like, you know, we had some jerseys, collected the heck out of the sorry, not the Pokemon cards, the hockey cards. We did have Pokemon cards too, but man, we used them. We didn't keep them in good condition. But we'd play like street hockey and stuff. I fell off it quicker than some of my brothers did though. Okay, same deal with this, but not as extreme. This one's not as curved as the other ones. These ones, like the other one was like coming way up here. This one's like more normal. I don't think it was aftermarket either. I think it just had like a little bit. I've got a PSA 8 Dark Raichu with your name on it. Sounds like a pretty cool card. I never got a Charizard. When I was younger, my older brother, he opened up a Charizard, and I'm like 90% sure. He wasn't sure if it was holographic. I thought it was holographic. Because we opened them up on the same day. Like, he opened a pack, I opened a pack. I opened one, there was a holographic Zapdos. He opened one, there was I swear, it was a holographic Charizard. Well, regardless, there was a Charizard there. But, like, you know, we were, like, right in that whole demo. Like, you know, we were that age. We collected all the Pokemon cards. We played all the games. Played Pokemon Snap. Played Stadium. Played Red, Blue. Maybe a little bit of Yellow, and then I guess it kind of dropped off after that. But, you know, you trade on Game Boys with one another. We were part of the whole craze. And then it's just so funny, because like I get the collectability of that and all the game boxes and stuff now, but I didn't realize that when I was younger. It's just, the big thing was like sports cards, right? Everybody was collecting sports cards, so you just think sports cards. But no, it's like all the video game stuff blew up and became very iconic, like all from that and N64 game boxes being in like perfect condition, and it's like, oh wow, crazy. Yeah, this one, much easier to shrink. We're probably still, like, you can see these little guys here. We might want to do something a little bit more than that, but that's kind of the idea, is like most of your curve is going to come from all here, and then, but this top edge kind of rounds a little bit more, and it gets a little crazy. Passenger side on this one, I'd say it's just specific to this car in particular. Not the model necessarily, but when you get one to tint, if you ever do, who knows, maybe you'll have better luck on the passenger window than me. I feel like it was kind of like a one-off thing. Yeah, this is very more normal to see. Cool. That's nice.
Mike Davis super chatted $5, in process of ordering some of the recommended film from some website. Have you heard of my Tint?
Mike with a 5. Thank you. Thank you so much. In the process of ordering some film and recommended tools, have you ever heard of mytintstuff.com? Yeah, that's my site. I might have heard of it. So, it's a good place. That's where the stuff like the studio squeegee, like the studio felt cards, the studio squeegee shanks, you can't find those anywhere else. They're just kind of like, it's my way of actually having like a cool tool that I use, and then it's special edition to here. Just helps support everything. Hey! Glad to see them work.
Lone Star 6 super chatted $4.99.
Ah. Oh, really? Oh, okay. It was a separate message. It was the one that immediately followed. Lone Star, thank you for the 5. Did I get that right? I think I got that right. Why do you cut the bottom edge? Why not use the factory straight edge? The short answer is just, there's a lot of times I use longer rolls and split them in half. And rather than try and like flip them around and use the flat edge, I just like that it's there. I throw it on the window, I cut it, and then I cut the bottom edge. Like I cut the roll in half, so on this car, cut the roll in half. And rather than like try and flip them around, I cut it really quick. It kind of is also, it can be a little bit difficult because when you are splitting your roll in half, I'll kind of cockeye it a little bit. So if I take the other pattern and line it up on the bottom, it's not always going to line up. So it's kind of finicky when you're mobile. And that's where a lot of this comes from, is like all I could depend on was pretty much the car. So that's where a lot of the things that I do still carries over. So if you're running around and tinting a bunch of cars in a day or for another shop or whatever, and it's just kind of messy, you don't have any good place to like lay out film because everything is trashed and, you know, just it's not the cleanest of spaces to work in, right? So all you really have to work on is like a car. That's all you can rely on. So I'll just throw the film on it. I'll cut it in half. And then just because everything's kind of there, it's just easy for me to just cut. So when I'm cutting out like my edges, sometimes the flat edge of a 36 will be up here, and then it'll slope down to like here. And then that'll give me a little bit more room, so when I flip it around, I have enough film to cover the whole thing. Keeping it dead center, straight, and then just cutting it in half means I gotta get most of my film right up here, and that doesn't always work out super well either. So it gives me a little extra material to work with to make some mistakes. But thank you for the super. So if I use a short roll, I'll use the factory edge a lot of the time. But it's pretty much when I'm only using the long rolls. Little things, so like I could have my film on like a shelf and just pull off piece by piece and measure it and stuff like that. There's some things that I could do to probably clean all that up. But like, I don't know. I kind of like keeping with that whole mobile thing. I don't like leaving the film over the top and just letting it droop or whatever. But I mean, you could take a 36 and you could like put it on a shelf. You split it exactly in half. Just keep a guide there and whatever. But I understand, like, there's a lot of people that watch this too that don't have even a space to lay out film or anything. And I'd argue most shops don't. Like, as simple as that is, there's so many like car shops and tint shops that you can go to that like even a glass board on the wall can be a stretch, and it's annoying. So like, I like staying with like everything that I do can be done on the car, with the exception of like, I'll cut corners and stuff on the boards, and that's most of the extra that I'll do there is I'll pull it off, I'll cut it on the boards, and then I'll bring it back over to the car. But it's very normal for me to, like, when I was running around, to not have a board and then round those corners on the car. But it's one of those things where, you know, I think it's totally fine in most cases to do it. But when you stream it, makes it a little bit, it's like one of those things that, like, you know, people start to ask about all the little things, like, you know, if I don't have a towel over the speakers in the back, they start wondering about that, they wonder about this. When in most cases, everything, when you tint it like normal, and you don't cover everything up incredibly well, you're still okay. It's just people didn't see it that way. It went behind the magic door, like, got pulled around. You know, what happens in a mechanic shop to a car, it comes out fixed and it looks okay, right? Like, most of the time that's what happens, so. But when you're streaming everything, we'll be a little bit extra particular on some certain things. Like, I do that with all the cars regardless now, but when I was tinting for another company or whatever, they got me so loaded up with other cars that there's not, like, I didn't have the time to do that, let alone the setup to accommodate some extra things like that either. It was just like, I'm like tinting over in the corner over there, and there's windshields all against the wall, and half-ass lighting, and, you know, it's, you know, you got an indoor space, you're making it work, but it's not ideal. It's not as nice as it could be. It's not as clean, and other things are happening, so just kind of make the best out of it. Yeah, it was always annoying too. Just being at other places and, like, I mean, you get used to it, but even like the convenience of having like another board that you can just peel your film on and cut it, or just like leave, like you have a hatchback, right? And you just want to put it on a board right near the window, and you can't even do that. Most of the time, that's what I was trained, like that's, those are the situations that I'm kind of so used to. You can't rely on anything but having the car and whatever tools that you bring along with. So if you want to carry like a big board of acrylic with you or something like that and prop it up somewhere, that's helpful. I didn't want to carry around anything big like that either, so it's just another thing. Always another thing. No. What the heck? There we go. So I guess that's probably the biggest difference right here between Lowe's and tuck tape. Lowe's, I think, is a little bit more fragile, but it's not by much. Like you can tear this stuff apart a little bit easier than you can with tuck tape, but they both work well. I think tuck tape maybe has a slight edge on sticking too. Yeah, like I'm already pulling this apart a little bit, but it'll get the job done. It's a little cheaper. It'll get the job done just fine. Covers up arguably the same. It's a little less wide. What size glass would be good for a peel board on mobile setup? I don't know. I've never really had to make one for mobile, and I don't think you need one. Something that's maybe similar to this size right here. So this is like a few feet wide, and maybe it could be like a little shorter or something like that, but you want it to be relatively lightweight. But I don't think it's necessary. Because, like I said, a lot of what you can do is on the car. And like I get it, if you're tinting cars that nobody wants to see you do that on, then I guess that's okay. But I don't know. I don't think it's really, you know, you're already spraying the outside of the car anyways, no matter what, if you're not cutting it off of a plotter. Let's see. I'm curious about this top. Yay! Everything's still good. So like that size right there, that's just a storm window that came with this building. Like it was literally, like I have like 5 or 6 of them sitting in here. So it's like a dual pane, heavy ass, big thing. I put some fun film on it. That's a mix of like, oh, what was it? Frost and like this iridescent film that I was playing around with. And I wasn't even sure if I liked it. I just kind of left it. I was trying to do something crazy with it. Let me have a sip of coffee. Canon. Can you tint in an open yard? Why would you want to? That doesn't sound like fun at all. Where did you buy the tape? Well, Lowe's tape you can get from Lowe's. Tuck tape you can get from Amazon. Unless you live in Canada, and then you can find it everywhere. Something I found out quick. You need somewhere to put that shit to hang it. I don't understand entirely. But yeah, so tinting out in an open yard or just outside in general, you're working against so many things. I appreciate the, like, I don't know if that was just a joke or like, hey, I don't have a place to tint, so I'm going to try and do it anyways. There's so many things working against you, and like, you don't have to go that route. You really don't. So, pros and cons of like mobile. Like, you can request that the client has a garage, but that definitely limits where you can tint. Another option is you can tint for other companies and still do your regular mobile thing. You don't have to like partner up with a shop and then tint for them exclusively. You find a shop, you give them a day a week, and then you go find another shop and give them a day a week. And then you give another shop another day a week. And then before you know it, you get a full schedule throughout the week and you're tinting for other companies. But you can also leave certain days open for you. So you never have to lease a space. And you can still do mobile work you're just tinting in other garages, and that makes it way better for just, you now have a space to tint. You can save up money. You work on getting your own space, and then still work on building up your own clientele by those extra days off. The problem with just running yourself ragged and trying to tint outside is just you're working against things, and you're never going to be able to do that all the time. And it doesn't make sense as a business to do it either. Like, I mean, generally, like, I don't know how to, there's, I think, I don't want to just generalize too much, but I think a lot of people, like, you're trying to figure out how little to start out with, and then you don't really value your own service either as much. So then you start underpricing yourselves, and then you're always wondering why you're running around trying to scrape by. Like, that's really, it's a tough way to do it. Unless you're running around, like, tinting ceramic jobs outside for, like, $300, $400, $500, and you're making good money and take care of your family, then more power to you. It's just, when you're looking to get into it that way, it's like you're definitely making things more difficult, and it's really hard to, like, pull yourself out from there, I think. But I didn't just jump into a shop. I worked with a company. I mean, albeit I had, like, a lot of training help, but, like, I started there. I didn't open my shop until last year. And even then, I didn't really want to shop, but I wanted to keep doing this, so. I want to take it easy, stream, have fun, good memes. But there's definitely, like, a slower grind in the beginning, especially if you're not going, like, bottom pricing. Even then, it can be tough for you. But just make enough to, you know, pay your bills and invest in your own business and make it better. And then it'll slowly start to snowball to where, like, oh shoot, I can do that. Like, some people look at the floor and go, oh, I can't do that. That's way too expensive. Well, if you figure out a way to charge a little more and save up and then invest in that and things that really help your business to now stand out, then that snowballs into, you know, better clients and more work and referrals, and that just all kind of builds over time. But figure out early on kind of like your ideal business. Do you want to tint out your garage? Do you want to purely do mobile? Or are you trying to work into having your own little dream space, big shop, and then just don't tint in a completely separate way from there? Do things that are going to help facilitate that long term. So, like, if your goal is to have, like, your own shop, probably the most popular example is, like, you know, something with, like, 1,500 square feet, maybe cost you $1,500 a month or something like that. Let's just say that. There's places that are going to be way more expensive, way bigger, places that are cheaper, hybrid operations with, like, other companies and stuff like that. But, like, let's say that's your, like, immediate goal. If you want to open up a space, how would you do it? I'd probably go partner up with some other shops and then leave some days a week to start building up my own clients. And then I would mostly cater to bringing in mobile clients, but going to their places and tinting, and then saving up enough to open up my own space where I can still keep tinting for the places that I'm tinting, but then also, once I get my shop opened up, like, literally the door's open, I don't care how it looks. I can pull a car, I can tint it. Everything else can come afterwards. You get that opened up, start paying on, you know, you put 2 months down or whatever, security deposit, get the door opened up, start scheduling those clients in there, and then you one by one start whittling away your mobile accounts until you're like full-time in a space. You never had to go 100% mobile. You never had to start with anything either. You just get film, get tools, go around to shops, see if they need help, see if they're looking to pull in Tint as a service, and just start doing that. Because you're gonna learn a whole lot working with other people too. Like even if they're not tinters, you're gonna learn a whole lot working from a shop, just talking to people. You're gonna see how they fix things, see how they work on stuff, like especially automotive related things. You're gonna see how sales people handle things. You'll see how good shops do it, how bad shops do it. Like you'll learn a ton. So don't undervalue that at all. And then you'll see what they're doing wrong, and you're like, I could do this so much better. And then you start to realize that, like, oh shoot, a lot of these places are just lazy. If I put like 10% more effort than they do, I'm like 100% better business already. What's your opinion on mobile? I struggle with it because you just never know what's going to happen, so it's hard to guarantee a solid job. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. It really is. You have so many things working against you, and it's like you have a bad weather day and you can't tint. Like screw that. There's different levels of mobile, and I don't really recommend that anybody just go tint outside. Maybe unless like you absolutely have to for like one person, but like I don't think your business should ever rely on the weather. Not unless like, you know, you charter boats or something. Is it like, yeah. What, we have winter 6 months out of the year here. And it gets cold, and it gets windy, and it gets shitty. And I've worked with a guy that had a tent, and like there were days that he couldn't set it up because it's too windy. But he also did compensate for a lot of other slower days and weird tinting situations and stuff like that. Oh, what in the fuck is that? Oh, I didn't think it was like that. Oh, no, we're okay. They popped the paneling out or something, so the clip is up. So as long as we can free it up to get enough room, we're totally fine. What about Alligator? He's full mobile. Okay, so there's a big difference in like the mobile that he is. Like he's the type of mobile that doesn't tint unless he's in somebody's garage. I think initially he was doing some of that, but like you have to, like it's mobile, but you're going into other people's garages. So if you have enough of those clients, like you can do it. Oh, are we gonna do this on a plotter? Maybe we should do this on a plotter here. Cut out some quarters and see how it lines up. But if you just, he put like 50 grand into a trailer. He's got like he put a lot into his aesthetic. So he went in this clever high-end mobile route that a lot of people just starting out aren't going to put the money into. If they have that kind of money, a lot of times they're just opening up a building or something. And he even said he's leaving mobile too. He's working on building a shop. He's burning $2,500 a month in gas doing mobile. Well, what is that? That's rent. That's rent on a good space. So like even in mobile, there's lots of costs associated with it. You just don't see them as much, but they're there. You know, it's like Uber and stuff like that. Like when you're putting wear on your own stuff, that still costs money. It's just not as apparent. Okay, so we got to do this. We can move it. And we can enter. So that's 66. The wonderful person that told me to put a piece of tape with some things on it, I totally didn't ignore your advice at all. And we're back to this. I think it was like 57 or something. That should be fine. Canon. But so with that, like, I'll tell you here, what you end up dealing with a lot of the time. How is he? Oh, that's a good question too. He was just early, and he praises them up. He's like a model mobile XPEL guy. Like it's very different what he's doing. So when I talk about mobile, a lot of people are like, you're looking for an inexpensive way to like tackle the world, and generally that kind of translates over into your business where you might price things lower, but things still cost money. So it's like you're when you're mobile, it's like you can do less in a day anyways because you have to unpack, pack up, go to a place, unpack your stuff, get it set up, figure out where you're tinting the car, deal with whatever they have to deal with, and then you do the car, and then you got to get them to pay, and then you cash them out, and then you pack all your stuff up and go to the other one. That drive time, even if there's another place only like 20, 25 minutes away, man, that just eats at your day. And that really sucks. And then if you have to fix something, then you have to go back to where you were and spend even more time at a place that's not going to bring you more money. So you literally have to drive out to somewhere, rip the tint off, clean it, fix it, retint it, and then you'll be on your way again, but they're not booking you another car. That really sucks. So like when you partner up with some other companies, they generally pile on work for you for the day. So then when you're going somewhere, you're only unpacking once. You can do that earlier, have enough time in the morning to do whatever you need to do, and then knock out a day, pack up, and then leave. And then if you had something that you have to fix, they'll bring it back on the day that you tinted the next week. Like, I'm sorry, I can't get to it, or, whatever, work it out with them. But they'll do that, and then they'll have the rest of the day for you to make money. You don't have to run anywhere. But he was always trying to position himself in a place that caters to a higher-end market that generally has a garage. So you just have to, like, tough it out because you're less discoverable when you're mobile. You have to do more when you're mobile, and it's just you have less cars that you can get done when you're mobile, too, in a day. So there's a lot of problems that come along with it, expenses that don't necessarily seem like they're there, but they definitely are. I mean, lost opportunity is a huge one. So, but, when you tint for other companies, you're not building your own brand. That's a huge issue, too. But I would just say have the ability to build your own brand along with not just tinting anywhere and everywhere. Because I think if you just focus on doing that, but you want to shop, you're going to have a hard time when it comes to open that shop unless you're just making a lot of money per job. It's tough. Have you ever tinted a Miata? I done it a while ago. I don't remember. They're small little cars. I don't think they're bad though. But it's been a little bit. Wait, maybe the newest Miata? What was that? No, that was a little. What was that little car? Didn't the Miata get picked up by like another company too? And there was like a couple. Oh, Fiat. Fiat had that little one, the Spider. No, what was it? The 128. I was making sure the car's not on. They had like the 128. That thing had some soldered wires on the back, which confused the heck out of me. But the front doors are easy. Have you ever tinted the Renault S9 brand? No, I haven't used Renault. But yeah, so as far as like, how is he mobile or how is he with XPEL? He's been running with them for a while, and he's a big promoter of XPEL too. Like big fan of the company, appreciates the opportunity, and never lets them know that he doesn't appreciate them. You know what I mean? So it's like, he's a very edge case. If you're trying to do that now, probably not, but it's kind of one of those like grandfathered in things that it's nice to have for the company. So I think it helps that most of the shops in my area seem to have a silent agreement that nobody wants to be mobile. That definitely could. It leaves like a little wiggle room for somebody to come in there and do that, but like, dude, I'm telling you, around here, wintertime, you need to tint in somewhere, and most people have so much crap in their garage, and their garages aren't very big either. So most of the time, it's like, if you can squeak a car in there, you can't open up the doors hardly at all. You got to shift it over, and then like the back is touching the edge of the garage. So you have, you know, the problem with the sides, and then the front and the back, it's like you get like a little squeak, and then the little light bulb on the top. I just don't want to mess with that. Like all those little things that you're trying to deal with all the time, that eats into your day a whole heck of a lot. Okay, so we have some patterns to cut out. Desktop. So that's this guy right here. So I already pulled it up. 2004 Lexus GS. We do have patterns for the whole car except the windshield, it looks like. So front doors, back doors with quarters. That's nice. So we're going to want back glass here. We're going to see how much space that this takes up. What I was curious about is there room to squiggle quarter window in here? And there definitely is no room on a 36 to squiggle a quarter. You have to do one of these guys, which then you're cutting it on a 36, right? Like, that's dumb. Nobody wants to do that anyways. So I think because we're doing this anyways, we can just, I don't know, do we have enough room on this? I guess we'll just cut it out. We'll put it on here, we'll cut it out, and then we'll see what happens. We got enough time to do this. And then hopefully, let me pop up this window, bring it over here so I can switch. So we will do this. And we're off. So one funny thing I found about this is, like, should I have gone into the 40s? No, I think 57. I hope that's not too much. We'll find out. So I'm holding the film like this because sometimes it gets into the catch basket and it flips up at the end. And I don't like that. That's no good at all. You don't want your film to flip up and stick because then it gets up to this point and then it turns into a sandwich. So I've been helping this along. And as long as I got my settings right, we've been able to cut things pretty normal. Like that. No problems there. The USB didn't randomly disconnect or anything either, so that's helpful. Oh yeah, and if they could add a stop button to this, like, oh my god, how is there not even a stop button? You stop it by literally turning off the machine. That's annoying. I don't deserve a table. Look at how I treat the tables. And then where's my, oh yeah, that's this window right here. Do you shrink every side window? Yeah, typically. So, the other way to do this, actually, maybe I should try it this way. I don't usually do this, but this is another way to do it. Rather than trying to, like, weed it all out on a table, you could just do this. Right? I got it cut. And then you just do one of these dudes. Like, use the car as your cut board, right? The only thing that upsets me a little bit about this, like, one, we put glassite on it, and I guess that was kind of pointless. Why did we do that if we're going to plot it? That's dumb. And then just kind of line everything up. We can go a little bit up here. It's really tough to line up your pattern exactly where it needs to be. But the good news is you don't need it to be 100% in place. But if you want to know if the pattern's really going to work, then try and line it up as close as you can. But yeah, then we'll just cut it, you know. Aww. Aw, that's cool. Good job. Proud. You've helped me so much. I appreciate you so much. Aw, that's nice. I'm in the process of starting my own tint business, all because of your videos. I learned to tint on my own car and my friend's cars. Great job. Or got a job at a tint shop for a while. Now I'm in the process of starting my own. Dang, that's awesome. There's a lot of good steps there. You guys pay attention to what he did? Started with friends and family. Then he managed to get a job at a tint shop, so you get a lot of just general experience there. And that's a big one. trying to figure out how to get some consistent experience before you open up your own thing is helpful. I mean, you can definitely just dive right in, but, you know, I always shy away from just doing that, so. It's good. And now he's opening up his own shop. That's super cool. I know that must have been a ton of hard work. Good job. Is the window dry? It looks to be sticking. So that's with the dryer sheet underneath it. Yeah, it is dry. Depends on the dryer sheet that you use, and sometimes the overspray that's on the window too. I like this amount of stick. This is with the Snuggle Sheets. So it's not like overly sticky, but it's got enough tack to where you can get it in place. And then it'll lock down to where you need it to, but it'll still give you a little bit of float. So I didn't weed this at all. So I just trimmed the sides. I just threw it on the back. I probably should have been doing this for a while. Like I said, I'm out of practice with the plotter. This makes way more sense to me. Don't even need a board. For the doors, yes. For this, probably not. Because we're going to peel the entire thing before we pick it up and carry it in the car. So having it set up at this point is perfectly cool. I like the subjects today. I have more fun talking about like business building. It's more like, I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm at though. More interesting to me. For like, you know, different strategies and opportunities and just places like, I don't know, different experiences and different ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways to like run and style your own business. It's really cool. I think the biggest thing though, maybe that I didn't think about so much when I was trying to do my own thing, it's like try and facilitate what you're trying to do as much as you can. And then you'll work your way there. Don't like, you know, if you're trying to get into a shop, don't try and just build a 100% mobile business necessarily. Like, get accustomed to tinting in other places and then saving up some money and then opening up a space that you can afford and then keeping that window open. So like when you first open up a space, like you're brand new. But the problem that a lot of people put themselves, like, okay, so if you open up a mobile tint business, or if you open up any type of business, like, generally, like, you're kind of all in, or at least you're a good part of the way into it. And that adds a ton of stress to it, when really what happens is you open up your own business and then you don't have clients yet. Like, you nitpick everything. Like, you want, you know, an awesome logo. You want this, you want that. You want to have all these pieces in place. Like, what payment processors are you using? What this are you using? What that? Like, there's so much that you'll have in place. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to open now. And you finally open, and then it's just like, nobody's calling. And then the handful of people that do, it's just like, oh, you're too expensive. And then they hang up, and then you just think that you did something horrifically wrong. This top, that's the only downside. My plotter isn't cutting 100%, and you do it like this. That's not good. I wonder if we have it lined up that we can use the glass aid, though, to help us out. Maybe. It's a little high, but being a little bit taller is better than leaving a gap. But this corner kind of comes down a little bit. But, like, so you don't really have a way to, like, all your money is tied up in your business. So, like, you just kind of need to, like, let things chill for a little bit. But you can't, because you just spend it all on setting everything up. But if you, like, so another way to do it, like we talked about, is if you want to open up a shop, you need to facilitate a way to open a shop and also survive through the slow times. So if you kind of have another job, keep working and then figure out how to cater to your own clients in a way that still allows you to keep your other job. And I understand not every job is going to have the opportunity to take like 2-3 days off a week to like keep your own thing going, but that's where like when you start tinting for another company, you kind of set the terms earlier on. You're like, these are the days that I'm available, and I don't think you're going to pull up enough tint business anyways, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like a glass shop. They built up a lot of clients over time to where they could keep you busy most days out of the week. But a lot of auto shops, they can really only pull in so much tint business in a week. So a lot of the time, if you were working there full time as a tinter, you'd just be sitting on your thumbs most of the time, waiting for business to roll in. When a good way for them to do it, to save everybody a load of headache, is for them to schedule that work for specific days. And you just come in and you knock it out. Well, then you have other days then to play around with, and you can add another shop, or you can leave that day available to tint for your own building at that point. And you just work your magic and finesse that. I think that's a pretty awesome way to do it. It's how I got here. And shoot, we were still, oh, it's jittery. If I lean my head too much, it skips all over the place. Wait, can I pull these? I don't know if I can. Maybe I can. What do you think? What do you think, Lexus? Are you going to let me pull? Oh, you can. How about that? All right, we have our stuff. I work at A+ Auto Glass, and we do all glass and all tint. Works pretty well. Yeah, I've tinted at quite a few glass shops. Auto One, they had a bunch of stores at one point, but I don't know. At the time, they had like four or five different locations. They primarily do auto glass, and then they'll do some like truck accessories and stuff like that. But they had enough clients built up over the years that they had a tint portion to their business. And, you know, they pick up a new tinter and somebody would quit, and, you know, that typical thing you see from a lot of companies where they can't keep a tinter. So we would handle their tinting for a little bit. We'd schedule them for a few days a week. That was one of the places that I worked at, but not as an employee, as a contractor. So I'd come in for a couple of days. They'd load me up with work, knock it out, and go tint somewhere else. They were pretty good. Some of them were better than others, but yeah, places like that, I mean, you get so much experience. You have other guys that specialize in glass, so like, they're not gonna help you with tint problems, but they'll help you with car problems and stuff. Like, oh shoot, I got this wet, car's acting funny. Well, they don't want their company, they don't want to disappoint their customers, so it's like you have some help there. So especially when earlier on, You just get more experience and you watch other guys and how they do things. Never really looked at it that way until like now, when it's like, oh yeah, I've dealt with all those situations. What's your opinion on One Ply? One Ply always struck me as like cheesy garbage film. I've been told One Ply has nothing to do with, like, you can make a long-lasting One Ply film, but generally speaking, you're gonna run into a lot of it because it's the cheapest type of film. Wow, that is like shit brown. Ew. It's the cheapest type of film to manufacture because it's basically like one layer of film. 2-ply is like, you know, you got another layer of polyester on top of it, so that all costs money. So most of the films, I don't know. I think that why you see 1.5 mil or 2-ply for most companies is just because they got more material to like play around with. But I don't know that for sure. That's always just an intuition that I've had. So most of the films that you're gonna see is gonna be 1.5 mil. I think Solar Guard's like one of the only companies that carries like broad 1 mil films, and like that's most of their lineup. But most everybody else has a 1.5 mil film. So really, I just tell people focus on the 1.5, ignore the 1-ply. It's thin, it's cheap, you can practice with it and save yourself some money, but there is going to be a noticeable change when you jump from a 1 mil film to 1.5. And I actually started with a 1 mil film by Lumar. It was Lumar AT, and then they discontinued it and forced us to go to ATC. And at the time, I think I was annoyed, but it was, I think it was a good change. Sorry if this is down a little bit low. It's a little cramped back here. Could you tell? All right, we're gonna squeegee this out, and then we're going to been using this towel a little bit more. That was from Korea Tinter. I appreciate it. I'm 45 years old and I've been a painter for 30 years, which 15 for myself. Now I started in a tint studio and do 2 cars a week, 3 months. We're about promoting and finding customers. Next year, tint studio is supposed to be my main income. Oh, congrats, man. That's awesome. That's super cool. I like how people are calling them tint studios now. Okay, what is going on? That is weird. My hose is losing pressure? I swapped my hose. But like that doesn't make any sense to me. They're all connected to the same thing. This one's fine. Okay, that's weird. We'll figure that one out here pretty soon. I don't know why it's like, there is pressure in the tank. So I swapped out the sprayer end. And I don't know, there's a couple of little differences. It's an older hose. I burned a hole in the other one. Yeah, there's probably a clog somewhere, but I burned a hole in the other one, and then that hose had been sitting for a little while, so maybe there's some buildup in it. I don't know. All the windows turned out good, and we were using it, so I thought I would have saw something if there was a problem with it. But hey, weird. It's just weird that it's like builds up. It's got to be earlier on in line because it like builds up pressure, sprays, and then drops back down. I don't know. I just want to get this tinted. looks like this thing fits really well. 10 out of 10. They've been great for back windows. I know I don't use them for a whole lot else, but man, if they can keep this up, like, I mean, it's cool too, because this is like an '03, so this is old as far as plotters are concerned. So like, to see this one actually work, and we didn't even peel it on a board, we just put it on the car and dealt with all the other little issues. I just want to make sure that so glass aid covers up the edge sometimes a little bit. So what I want to make sure is that I don't like have a happy little gap, right? Like I do right there. Dang, and it already froze. That was quick. I should have peeled that before I did it, but hey. Sometimes you don't get them. Aren't the defrosts somewhat thick? I think so. So hopefully we don't have an issue. There was definitely an issue on the other one. It wasn't a GS, it was something else. A Lexus something something. Alright. This back window pattern, whew, just squeaked by. I'm glad I pulled that and looked at it a little bit closer, because it is edge to edge. Very, very close. But it works. Okay. But that's the important thing. I mean, I suppose with the way that it looked, you'd want it to be pretty tight. It's a Lexus. So Lexus, Audi, and a couple of other ones. I mean, it's not uncommon for them to be really annoying and tight on the sides. I don't know, something about being more expensive. But figure that out before you start tacking it up, because it's totally fine to like pull the pattern back, spray it, and then put it back on the window. In most cases. It's so quiet in here. I have, so this transmitter that I use, it's got like an actual fan in it. And I don't know if I've had it off this whole time. I'm assuming I did, but I bought a new one. And I can hear this little fan whirring. It's just going. It's kind of funny. Maybe I shut the fan off. Maybe that's why it just burned up. I use it a lot, and then it just burned itself up. Oh, shoot. This way. There we go. That's nice and even. How's horizon lock working in the back window? I don't know. Ah! Third brake light. You suck. There we go. Hopefully. Now what I really don't want to see is any type of air bubble back here, because this would be the worst. That's no fun. So let's clean it off and take a better look. I didn't notice anything, so that's good. But let's clean it off and see, because that would suck. The worst is when you have a brake light like that, and then you lock a piece of dirt or a small air bubble, or you have a little finger all the way down here, because you just can't get to it very easily. I've been working at a trash company for 14 years, been tinting for 8 years. I'm trying to prepare myself for next year to tint full time. What I'm doing right now is very tiring. Oh, dude, I can imagine. Dang. Good luck, man. That's tough. That's a really tough situation to be in too. Like, because being in a regular, like, or being in a job, making the income that you're making, and then kind of being used to however you're living, and then jumping into like a whole nother thing entirely, it's tough because you want to be able to like maintain and then just cross over. So that can be, whew, that can be tough for sure. Good luck. But, I mean, you've been tinting for 8 years, so you definitely built up a fair amount of experience. And then I'm assuming you're pulling in clients, like, kind of like later on in the day or something. But you don't quite have the luxury of, like, just taking 3 days off in the middle of the week during regular hours to pursue that. Unfortunately. But if you have enough people that you've built up, like enough of like a referral network base, you know what I mean? Like if you have enough. Do I have a little thing here? Oh, I think I got a little thing there that I gotta swish out. But this all looks good. I got like one thing at the top. That was probably from when we pulled it down. There is, what is there? Where is it? Not really surprising. This guy right here. So let's see if we can pry this down. Oh, come on. Come on. Don't be stuck already. There we go. Oh. Oh, Lexus. Why you gotta be that way? There we go. I was getting it from the wrong thing. So we'll peel this down just a little bit. This little squiggly hair, it's just that tight little pig curl. That's all it is. Finesse that out. There it goes. Let's make sure all this is nice and clean. All right, we're gonna just shove it up there. Just in one even, there we go. Don't give it a chance to like pull down dirty, felty, headlinery water back in. Just swoosh it out and then push up clean water and squeegee it all at once. The back window doesn't look as dark as the back doors. Oh, don't tell me we did the wrong roll. I think that would be the most upsetting. No, it's tan interior, white towel, and where you're looking. So you get all this buttoned up, and yep, we're the same. When you pull tint like that, how do you prevent contamination? A lot of that was like kind of in the prep ahead of time. You know, we spent a lot of time squeegeeing up towards the top and stuff. And you try and do it with the least amount of exposure as you can. So I was trying to pull it from the top corner, but what worked better was doing it from the side and just creating like a little wave all the way out to here, and then swishing it down. So anytime I sprayed water, I wasn't spraying up here. I was trying to spray down here and flushing clean water all the way down here. So all this is nice and clean now. There always is a risk in older vehicles with headliners that are starting to deteriorate. This one isn't really deteriorating, but like if you get your fingers way under here, you can start flicking apart that, like, I don't know. It's some sort of like, it starts crumbling a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially on the edge. Trucks are pretty bad for that. Like old trucks are. And you just kind of like cross your fingers. You pull it back and then you go for it. Just be careful. Fit to screen. Yeah, no, we're right. Okay. Yeah, you just cross your fingers a little bit because it could have pulled it back and then it just got that wrong wave of trash in it and then it all just is speckly and then you would have seen me ripped it off and try again and then been upset. So it's a bit of a gamble. But there was one like curly, like really small, tight curled thing that it would have stood out a lot. And that's a no good thing for sure. Should we cut these on the plotter too? Let's see how these work. What time is it? 3? Oh, we're doing okay. That's nice. So let's get a short roll in 35, and then we'll cut these out. That's this roll right here. We'll see how these fit. So this is set up right now for a 36. This drives me a little bonkers, but bonkers, that's a word, right? Oh, I guess I don't. Oh, no, it's the 36 is to 40s. This is okay. So then we push this slider back here, and then we'll be okay. It'll be all right. And then enter. Okay. I'm just going to pull this up in the ugliest way possible. So this one, we're going to change this to 24, and then this one. Oh, come on. Are you really going to make me flip these sideways? Math? Whatever. Do these sideways then. So I can only shrink these sideways now if I do them like this. So I don't even know if this will be worth doing, but whatever. We're too far now. Let's let that marinate for a little bit. Where do you get the squeegee, the green one, to clean the windows with? I've tried a couple, but they don't clean as well. Which one? Was I using? I wasn't even using my Tint Studio squeegee, was I? This guy? This guy? With a fine Detroit Tint Studio on it? My tint stuff? Or is it tint stuff? Ah, there it is. I don't know. Let me know. mytintstuff.com. Oh, what the heck? Oh, we'll fix this blade afterwards. That's my knife. Oh, the big one. Sun Distributing. Sorry. Sun Distributing. There it is. So that one is, what is that, tail fin? Yeah, it's a tail fin. The green one is great. It's one of those handy squeegees that, like, you should keep around. I thought I had it. Was I using it in this one? No, I wasn't. Okay. But it's super helpful to have around. it's squishy to where it curves with the... Thank you for the order, by the way. It's squishy and forms to the glass pretty well, and it gets into tighter spots on like back windows and whatnot. Super handy for that. Okay, so I flip these sideways. So that means I can only shrink these sideways, right? This is kind of a harder one. This will be a challenge for the plotter. I don't know. I'd shrink these a little bit. They're tall, and you're probably gonna have a little something. You're gonna have something pop up, and then you're gonna squeegee it out, and it's gonna look dirty. At least that's what I would gamble on. So, as far as these with bigger defrosters, we got one spot here, we got a little one right there. Everything else looks pretty good, so that's reassuring. We scrubbed it down a lot. And we didn't turn the defrosters on, but if I had a big problem, I would have redone it with defrosters on. So, yay, that shrunk perfectly. I'm in a pickle. I'm in a pickle. Whoa, why is that all the way up there? I'm in a pickle. Okay, cool. Pickle averted. I just picked up the corner, and because it's plotted, it just wanted to peel on me. But yes, sun distributing. Where are my squeegees? So this actually brings up a great difference between, wow. Oh, I put them all on the wall, that's why. This brings up a great difference in the areas where I want to use an easy reach and a tri-edge. Like I said, the easy reach is going to get into more places, but is more likely to scratch your film. And the tri-edge is less likely to scratch your film. Oh, there it is. Look, we got the silver one right here. It was just hiding. How does that even happen? How do I have something in my pouch, and then I look for it, and then I can't find it, and then, like, magically appears one day? One day. Magically appears later in the stream. I hate misplacing stuff so much. I need to put little air tags on all of them. I got air tags for my keys, and I'm happy to say I've misplaced my keys like a couple times and been able to find them really easily. Need one for all my tools. So the dot matrix border on this one is great. The heat gun too. Oh my God! It was Miguel with the save. Whew. That was looking real close, bud. Thank you so much. Oh my God, we almost did that again. That was amazing. Look back and there it is. Almost cooking the line. Yikes, we don't need to do that again. I just replaced it. Albeit with an older hose. But we literally just replaced it. So we don't need to do that again. Anyways. Yee. So the dot matrix on this is very, very helpful. Gives you a good amount of space to tuck your film in on most of this window. Where it gets tricky is going to be like you still need pretty close edges because this, you want to tuck into this a little bit. Or you hope it's offset enough to where there's no gap, but you know. So if I'm comparing the two, tri-edge will generally just kind of blunt up against rubber gaskets like this. And they don't, it's harder. You gotta kind of like run them up and down a little bit until you find that spot, and then it squeaks into the seal, and then it's more okay. But an easy reach, you can still have that same problem, but it's typically a little bit easier to get the easy reach in a spot like that. but you're also getting it into grimy, dirty spots that we're gonna wear it out pretty quick, and then you start scratching your film too. So I love both. I'll use a tri-edge a lot more, but when you really want to get into a tight spot like that, and then you also don't want to risk like pulling the film back, the Easy Reach, I think it's a little slimmer, it's a little better. You're just gonna put a scratch in your film more often than not. Like, so you get used to using them, and then it's like you start seeing little scratches everywhere, and you're like, this drives me crazy. So then you start using the other thing. Dang, I should have done that way instead. Oh, come on. Fusion after, oh yeah, the afterburn tape. That is something we can do. And you're right, it would have saved me money. The funny thing though is like, maybe it's just the new problem. I think this edge was a little... I'm gonna redo this. I just made a mess of that install though. I think we'll be close, but so what happens here is I have a little gap, and then my edge kind of comes back out. So I have to tuck into here, and it's just a little tricky to do that. So what's happening is this pattern here should work, but the middle is like here, and then it goes straight up, and then kind of curves back this way, where this rubber edge comes back out that way. So it's not ideal. Everything else looks like it'll be okay, but it's, it's an old window. Just kind of is how it is. So is there a way that I can just cut another couple really quick? I don't know if I want to do this. I probably should just... There we go. What I should probably do is just hand cut it. But I like everything else about it. So we'll give it one more go. I also didn't really install it in a super clean way, so I was having some problems with that. I should have approached it differently. Should have approached it differently. Oh. Oh. Oh, that'll get it to stop? Really? Oh, that's my stop button then. Oh, I figured out how to stop this thing. That's cool. So if it's cutting on you and you hit this button here on off line, it'll stop. That's cool. I said it needed a stop button. That'll work for me. Can you show us your waiting room? No. I have in the past. It's not great, and I need to put money into it. And I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna ignore everything I said before. We're gonna go with nice, simple, classy, industrial office carpet. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna do something with the ceiling tiles, and then we're gonna have nice clean white walls. So I just gotta get all that. I have like a $3,000 budget that I'm gonna play with, and I'm probably gonna go over, but that'll get me most of the stuff. You have to put a fish tank. Yeah, I'm not gonna take care of it. Looking for a company to set up my front counter area. So like computer equipment, software for scheduling, creating estimates, and POS equipment. Oh, use TintWiz. So all the extra stuff, I would not have another company set that up necessarily. So like credit card machines is like one thing. Shop around for something like that for good rates and stuff. But like setting up like everything, you're gonna want to know what you're getting into ahead of time. So look into a program called TintWiz. They're really popular in the tinting industry. So like you can do scheduling, you can do invoicing, you can do a lot of stuff from it. And they're working on a payment solution here pretty soon. Well, they're working on it, but it's going to be, I guess, more towards the end of the year. Then they'll be fully integrated, but it integrates with QuickBooks, and I think that's the main one that it integrates with. I don't use QuickBooks, though. But I use all my invoices and stuff that way. But there's a lot of softwares. Like, it's really easy to get into business software that will cost you a lot. And we're talking like $1,000+ a month on just like add-ons and stuff like that. So TintWiz is 100. It caters to the tinting industry. They're super helpful, and they always try and support. So I really appreciate that, and I use them for all my invoicing and the proposals and stuff. I think the proposal feature is like super awesome. It's probably one of my favorite things about them, other than the pretty invoices. I figure you could probably get pretty invoices from a lot of people. But proposals, those legitimately get us good jobs. So like we have something on, you can go check it out too. If you go to Detroit Tint Studio, you will see a way to leave a quote or request a quote. And that's pretty normal, right? Just sends to like an email or whatever. But this, it sends to TintWiz. And then so it puts in their name, their information, whatever they like about the car, because obviously you need all that if you're going to quote it. It's a way to contact the person. And then, son of a bitch. Yep, it did it again. See what I mean? It curved up this way. So I'm fighting with it the whole time. I'm just going to hand cut this thing. Everything else about this is okay, but this top is not great. It's giving me some problems. So we're going to hand cut this and see if this goes any better. Because this little curve right here is different all the way up. What do you use to track down your profits and expenses? TintWiz, so all the invoices are in there. So I can track everything. They have analytics and stuff that you can see how things are going, see what you made for the week. They have like an inventory system. Like there's a whole lot to it, and I don't take advantage of everything that's in it. Main things that I use are proposals and invoices. But I don't have like a super crazy busy shop. I mean, I can keep a handle on my inventory pretty easily. I got a proposal. Which tint did you put on your own personal vehicle? I put Pro Nano. I did 50% on the windshield, and I did 35% on the front doors. It's a good family shade, in my opinion. 50 is really light for the front, but it gives us like a little bit of shade. Not like a ton, but it is noticeable. When you go from like a clear windshield to the 50, There's a good difference there. And then with the rest of it, we went with, or all the sides, we did 35. And we did that because it's just a little bit safer to drive with, and it's a little less sketchy with a full windshield. So when you're doing like 35 on the sides versus like 20, I don't really cringe when I go past like a cop or something. And it's kind of big and a little bit more open, but it works well. I like it a lot. Okay, so this, for example, little corner cut there, a little round here. We'll shrink it, and then we'll get it in. So the question now is, how does this pattern compare to the other one? There's a lot of quarter windows. There's a lot of quarter windows where that plotter has been helpful, but on these ones, it's a little off. At least off of that one. We could try the other side and see if it's redeemed. But I don't know. I had some issues. Wasn't much. Like, if I could get that seal freed up and tuck into it, it'd be no problem. But, like, that's the reason why this thing is so dicey anyways. Can't tint the windshield for Wisconsin law. Yeah, it makes sense. That's a lot of states. So do whatever you feel comfortable with. 70 is kind of cool, though. I'll recommend that to a lot of people. If you want to do like ceramic on your front windshield, but you don't want to get like, you don't want to risk getting pulled over for it, like 70 is such a good sweet spot. Because with 70, like you can't hardly tell it's tinted at all. So getting pulled over for it is pretty much a non-issue. And then you have all the benefits of ceramic if you want to go that route. Sliding away from me just a little bit. Oh, come on. Don't even. There we go. See, what are we going with? For this edge, we're going with, there we go. We're going with an easy reach instead. Boom. Much better. So, like I said, tri-edge just doesn't quite get up in that spot as easily. And you jam it in there, and then it kind of catches on the way up a little bit. It's just trying to keep that line all the way up. But my cut worked out way better on this one. But there are times, like, it's really just about keeping this lined up with that rubber. So everything else about it was okay. But you can see, you'd want to like retrim it or something before you installed it on this, because we got it on the first try with that. We did have a little practice with the other ones though. Nice. What time is it? 3:30. Oh, is it really? It feels like way later than that. I don't know why. It just does. I guess it's nice because we're not doing like full windshield right now. The green big one. Oh, this one? This one? This one right here? That I use to clean back windows. I don't really use it. I don't really clean with it. If that's the one we're talking about. Maybe we're talking about a whole different one. That's the tail fin. What green squeegee are you using to clean the back window? I don't. I don't know if everybody's on the same page here. Not that one. Well then, I don't know what other. The one with the handle? I don't. Oh! You talking about this guy right here? This green one? Like green and white? Ah, there we go. Yep, that's it. Yeah, that one they don't sell. That's something that you can go find at like Walmart. It's a Libman shower squeegee. Sorry, we were all confused on that one. Does your site have any pictures of 50% nano ceramic? I have a vehicle in person. So when you come to an appointment, I can show you that. I don't know which ones would be 50 or not. The problem with pictures is like, it's really hard to tell anything from a picture. So 50% is like, it's light, but you can still see into it. But it's the way I always sell jobs. I don't. It's you get one idea over pictures and like whatever screen you're looking at, and then it's a totally different ball game when you come in for an appointment, and then I can show you 50% in person because it's what I have on mine. I think it's the best shades to show, at least for what I do around here. So 35, 50, 5, and 20. Like, so I've got 20. There we go. That's better. So I got 20 on mine, 20 on the back, 35 on the front doors, and 50 on the windshield. Where did I put it? There it is. That's old, reliable. I have a Model 3 and I live in Wisconsin. That is a little far. I remember you have the Model 3 Performance. Well, the thing is, don't be set on anything ahead of time. Just kind of like get some idea, but you definitely don't have to like commit to anything ahead of time. It's like that's why I say like I'll show you in person and you can decide there. Cuz a picture's going to do one thing and then actual job is going to be something else. So we just did 35% on the Model Y. Ah, these edges, man. They're just too fucked up. So let me show you. Yeah, these aren't going to work on either side. I got to hand cut both of these. Makes sense, because like a lot of times they flip them, but so like that, right? It presses too much over. It doesn't follow the seal. It's like film and vinyl with their top edges. All right. We do send them, I think, in the proposals, but I can take a picture. I can take a picture of the van. Or do I have a picture of the van? I think I do. Do I have a picture of the van with the tint? That's a question. I'll take one of the van. Next time I stream, I should have one of the van with 50% on the windshield. Oh, no, that whole stream. Just watch the van. We streamed it. Watch the van stream. We did 50% ceramic. Matt bought a minivan. He did. What a weirdo. How are you able to keep your cool when you have to start over? Oh, that wasn't me this morning. I know we've done like plenty of streams. Like, holy shit. Just I'm like telling myself, it's like, I've got streams where I've done it. I should have just said that. And then I'm thinking like pictures. So this morning, I had a couple of doors on an older truck from the same person. And like, I don't know, man. I was just trying to film like a short video along with it because it was like unique cut, and I was trying to get some more just some more examples, something I could upload, and then yeah, that didn't work. I just kept making like the dumb cutting mistakes and stuff like that, so it just wasn't going well. But it always happens when I like go to record or whatever, and it's happened like a lot, and it just gets annoying. I get those days where I wish I did something else, but I don't know exactly what that is. But then there's those good days where things go well, and you're like, hey, I like what I do. But just because you've been tinting for a long time doesn't mean everything's all sunshine and rainbows. You still have the regular, like, stress and stuff. I think the worst is, like, when I legitimately always try and do a good job, and then I feel like I keep falling short, and I'm like, why do I even try? So, like, then you have those easy cars, and those make your day better. And you're like, oh, okay. Or you spend time on a Lexus like this, and then it's actually all going pretty smoothly. Like, we don't have to rush. It's pretty easy going. There's some days where I think I'm just going to, thank you. Some days that I think I'm just gonna play just so I can stream.
LKB Python's super chatted $5. Been a min. What's good, fam?
That's any job, to be fair, just different scenery. Yeah, I agree. At least, but there's some, thank you, LKB, thank you. 1 second. There's just those things, though, you know, where I see other streamers sitting at a desk, and I'm like, man, I feel like this would be so much easier if I could just sit at a desk. I put myself through running around on cars and, like, weird situations and stuff like that, and there's just some days that I don't want to stream that way, but that is 100% the way this stream is set up. So I just, you know, like with that Model Y, I was very happy to bring a Model Y and do that. And it's not a hard Tesla to do. It's just like then we have to redo the whole windshield, and I'm like, ah. So I don't know what to do about something like that, but it's just something that sits in the back of my mind some days. But LKB, sorry. LKB with the 5. Been a minute. Was good, fam. Oh, just wrapping up this Lexus here. That's actually going really well. We compared some plotted quarters to some hand-cut ones, and the hand-cut ones won today. But that sometimes is much better to plot them. Just in this case, it wasn't. Back window was good, though. What is your advice on getting a shop or temporary setup? Go back a little bit in this stream, actually. We talked a lot about it while I was working on like some of the back doors and mostly the back window. When I was installing like the last one, we talked a lot about mobile versus owning a shop and like what I would recommend on like exactly your question. I'm using Geo because of watching your streams change things in my area. No dealer for miles and miles. Everywhere around uses me. Lumar, Suntech, Lexan, 3M, maybe a few others, but no Geo. At least they'll be different than the others. What sets them apart from other film companies? That's a good question. I really like their customer service, and they carry good products along with it. So there's like a lot of the companies that you just listed. Lumar, they're Eastman. So they're more unique, like manufacturer. Well, they dye a lot of polyester, so they're pretty good. But they're definitely charge a premium. But they take care of their people too. Like, I don't think that there's any other films that do any better, especially for the money. It's like Geo is one of those films that can compete tooth and nail with anybody out there, and they bring legitimately good products to the market, and they have really, really good customer service. And one thing that keeps me with them is the way that they've helped this community too. So they were one of the first companies to like help when like sponsoring a video when I was like looking into that type of stuff. They're a company that's looking to take a few more chances and a few more risks and have a little bit more a few more resources to be able to do that type of stuff. And they want to be more involved, and they're always just kind of looking ahead at newer technologies. So they hit a lot of really good spots, and their customer service and shipping has been like amazing for people. I don't think I've seen a single bad thing ever said about them in my own Facebook group. And that, like, when I say my own Facebook group, I I don't censor people in my group. You say whatever you want to say within reason, like be respectful, but if you had a bad experience, feel free, any brand, any film, feel free to talk about it. I don't care if it's about Geo or anybody else. And they just get nothing but positive feedback and recommendations. So that's what I really like about them. When you get into some of these other companies, there's sometimes a little bit of arrogance, and they're more catered to bigger clients. So you're not their top priority, where with Geo it seems like everybody's a priority to them. So plus we had to pick somebody. So like, for example, if I just was a Lumar dealer, I'd probably be pretty happy with Lumar. You know, every once in a while, like, they have supply issues, like, who doesn't? They might have a quality issue too. Again, who doesn't? And they'll probably take care of it. So there's probably going to be very similar experiences there. But they charge a premium, like a big premium for all of that. I mean, that's okay. That's their business. But I haven't had to go that route with them. And they have this little caveat of, like, you have to order, like, $800 a month in film to, like, stay current with them. And I don't think that's, like, as a Lumar dealer, that's bad at all. I think that's pretty easy to hit. But, like, for everybody that's watching this, that, like, is like, hey, I just want to use something that works. I want to use what he's using. I always had that in the back of my mind. I want something that you guys can also use, but you don't have to. So if I use them and it's like, sorry, bud, you got to grow a bigger business if you want to use this stuff. Other than that, you got to go shop at these other places. Like, I don't like that at all. And I feel a similar way about territories. Like, if I was just focusing up on being a tint business, I'd probably appreciate my own territory a little bit more. But I've learned to not really worry so much about competition. Just focus on your own business. And I mean, this goes with like XPEL, Solar FX, good companies. But if you want to be one of their, you want to carry them and you like everything that they have going on, there's a chance that you can't. And that's just because there's another business that was there first. And that kind of sucks. So I get some of the reasoning behind it. But again, for this channel and what we do here too, it really sucks. So I don't know. That's kind of like a long story why I like them. But that's why. Practice with Suntex. Now I'm getting into Ceramic Pro. Very cool. Ceramic Pro, I'm interested to see where they go. It's kind of is like that same type of XPEL feeling, but they're like a little later than XPEL. So XPEL kind of just like blew up in the window film space, and they haven't been carrying window film for that long. So like what happened there is really cool. It's like they had a completely different business. Like they were paint protection film, and they focused on quality and software with that. So when they expanded into window film, they did it with their software. I just hate that they then closed it all down. So they let everybody use it, they tested it, and then they're like, nope, sorry, if you don't use our film, you can't use it. And you're like, okay, I want to use your film. Oh, sorry, there's somebody in your territory, so we can't offer it to you. Good luck. So that was really irritating. Ow, I just like cramped my hand up really bad. I couldn't get Lumar, but I'm better off because I didn't like Eastman sales guy that came to meet me. You know, I haven't talked to them. I know they take care of their people, or at least that's the vibe that I get from them. Maybe if you're like a bigger one, they take better care of you. I don't know. But there's always been an arrogance with companies like that, especially them. Just like they know they're a big company, they know that they pull in big clients, and like if you're a small guy, like they just grow your business first before you contact us type of thing, you know? So it's not really like,
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
okay, fine, Siri, then you go get Lumar then. But like that's the way I'd look at it. Like, you know, if you're just kind of researching and you want to pull in a good film, oh, I saw a bunch about Lumar. Well, yeah, there's a lot of good things to say about them, but they're also like a giant company, and they've been around for a very long time. So it's not just like you just kind of, you have to have a weight about your business too, and not just like, hey, I'm thinking about starting, so maybe I'll go get Lumar. Like that's just not the way to look at that company. How much is carbon 40%? You can go to Tint Stuff, mytintstuff.com, and then you can check out the pricing there. That's one thing we try and do with Geo is like, there's films, you can buy them online, you just gotta have a login to do it, and it's easy enough to get. It's just a little bit of like customer distributor separation, like posted, like prices aren't blasted and posted everywhere. Some companies have tier lists too. So like you can order a film from a company and you can pay like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 pricing based on volume. The more film you order, the better discounts that you get. So keep that in mind with like any one of these companies. I believe that your supplier should be your cheerleader, no matter how big or small, and if it's not like, after all, it's not like you're on the ladder climbing up. Yeah, I agree. I told them I'm starting Tint service, and it's only for me now. The guy gave me the way too big for you. Get 3+ installers, and then get with us. At that point, you don't need them, right? And that's a horrible attitude. I mean, you're not gonna get that from like Sun Distributing's hanging out. You're not gonna get that from them. You're not gonna get that from Geo. Everybody's important, and that's, I think, like I don't get it either. I really don't, because if you build a business first, here's the thing: a lot of people will look into a company like that to help build their business, right? So you're going to them because they're a big name, and you think that I want to carry a quality product, and I know of them, and man, if I can use their film, that helps make me look better too. So their brand is stronger than your brand. So you think that that might help you earlier on with credibility, legitimacy, and just better, like better overall appearance, and maybe they'll get you some leads and whatever. Man, they don't care. A lot of them are just like, hey, come to us when you're a bigger business and you're gonna order Canon. Good time for it to die. Some of them are just,
I don't know what you mean by.
would you shut up? Thank you. But like, come at us when you're a bigger company. But then you figured out how to grow your business on your own without them. So then why would you sign up with them? Why would you change? Like, that's is just what I don't get. But that being said, you can grow your business to a point where maybe a smaller distributor can't necessarily handle your volume. That could be an issue too. And then that's where they're gonna hang out and then wait for that to happen. And then you're like, well, now I guess I'm gonna go with them. But remember their arrogance at the beginning. That's all I gotta say. Because I don't like that at all. That's crazy. What is a Hollyland? Hollyland is the wireless transmitter that we're using. That's that's this guy right here. So, I can see why you're not worth their time. They got enough other things to worry about than the small guy. But on the same thing, you as a small company growing into a bigger company, are you going to look at them in the same light when you grow up now and like, oh yeah, we could bring in Lumar or whoever else we want. Now the world's for our picking. Like, it's so dumb to take that approach or that arrogant attitude. Oh, that's badass. Oh yeah, that's how we have to do everything. It's a lot, but it works. So we have this, here's the GoPro. That's the 10 in a media mod. HDMI out to this, and then we have an extra battery to help power it all. So every once in a while, I drown on too long and I don't change the battery, so pop this guy out. So this camera battery hooks into here, and I swap these out and then keep going. Is Johnson Window Films any good? That's a film company that I can't really say it is or it isn't. I've heard decent things, but I don't know enough about them. They've always just kind of like flown under the radar. They're a bigger company that just like couldn't tell you. I use Johnson baby shampoo, but I don't think that's the same company. Or I don't know. All right. We just strap a phone to Alex's forehead. I was looking into like phone head mounts because if that's good enough to work for some people, I feel like that would be a good way to like do virtual training or something. Just like have like a video call and then they just do it. And I know like, and then you can see what they're doing and then you can talk to them. I feel like that would be a good way to do it as long as it worked. Duh. My back tint is 35. It's factory. How can I get 20% all the way around but evenly? Is that even possible? What'd you do? Even 35? So you don't want, if you don't want to remove it, which it sounds like you don't, and I don't blame you, because that gets expensive. You'll be a little bit darker with doing 35. I would do like, you could do like 40% over it, 35 or 40%. Like, so if you can find somebody with a 40% or like the same company that tinted it, essentially, I would just get 35 over it again. You'll be close enough. You'll be at like 12%, but like 35 over 35, it'll probably meter close to like 15 to 18. You'll probably be fine. Do that. Just put 35 over it again. I've watched so many live streams, I feel like I know where everything is at. Do you want to help me then? Like, do you want to tell me when I misplace stuff? You're like, oh, it's over there. Oh, I misplace stuff so much. I feel like I should know where everything is, and then I do that. Alrighty. So we gotta shout out some super chats here. He can't get here till about 5 o'clock, but I already cashed him out. Like, well, he can't get here until like half hour after I close. So we're going to wrap things up, and I'm gonna put it outside and everything like that. He dropped off before I got here, and he's picking up afterwards. He swapped out in the middle, though. But I have a minute to hang out, and then we'll end things. So in the meantime, thank you so much to LKB, Lone Star, Mike, Jose, Justin, Mike, Daniel. Thank you guys so much for the Super Chat support today. I very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. The Tinter Pro package by Mike, TintWiz, is that the same green squeegee that you have? There might be like a small hardness difference, but yeah. Yeah, they're all kind of the same thing. People get them in different colors, get different logos and stuff on them. Yeah, they're all the same. Except there can be a hardness difference, so I don't know for sure on that department, but yeah. I like that squeegee a lot. I think it turned out super cool. Dibs on bright green. Every year's good. Johnson treat you good. They want you to grow with them. That's good to know. I appreciate that. Any company that kind of like, I mean, there's companies that will treat you well. They're more, I think, the mid-tier ones. So like, there's the upper big cocky boys. I'm not saying they have bad customer service or anything like that, but like there can definitely be an arrogance about them. And then you have like mid-tier, and you could have like, I don't want to say like, you know, somebody selling film out of his garage or something like that. Generally, the people in the middle tier, like this goes with carbons, it can be like the best bang for your buck, right? You save a little money, you get great customer service, they'll take care of you. They might not be able to do as much as an upper tier, but they'll, you know what I mean? Like it's usually a great bang for your buck there. Johnson will send you a 10-foot test roll. Well, you guys just go hit up Johnson for some free film. A lot of companies will send out sample rolls, and some won't ask too many questions. I don't know exactly who will and who won't right now, but some people kind of poke those systems to get free film, which is funny to me. But like a lot of companies do have some type of sample program. Just some will charge for the sample and then maybe comp you on that sample on that price and credit it towards like your order. But, you know, is what it is. Tom from that one company used to sell out of his garage. Oh, nice. Very cool. Too bad the Film sucks. But that's like everybody, you can have that tinter that starts out of their garage. It's like just a broad term to throw at it. It's like it's the difference is somebody who takes their business seriously and somebody who's just looking to make a quick buck, I guess. So there's those people that will sell that way, and then like they always kind of treat it that way. And then there's the people that try and do better. It's just you don't really know who it is until they start moving up in the ranks. How many cars do you do in a week? Ooh, not a whole lot right now. I usually schedule a couple per day. But we're like, we had some personal stuff. Wednesday, I had the last 2 days off. My wife had to go get a root canal. And oh my God, I thought that was going to be like, she had to go through it, not me. But she's doing good. She's doing real good. It was not as painful coming out of there as we thought it would be, but man, not super fun getting it done. That's for sure. Yikes. Guessing 8. I don't even know. I don't even know right now. Probably about that. This whole place is set up a little bit differently from the beginning, though. But we're in a slower period for sure. It was like woo woo woo, and now we're kind of like at a lower slump right now for sure. But we're still getting inquiries. We're still staying somewhat busy, and then we're still getting like I'd say about half like carbon or ceramic, and then half pro classic right now. So it's nice to see. From last year, there was a lot of pro classic leading into springtime, but now we're pushing that, and I don't know, getting good traction that way. I just had a phone call before I went live, actually. Sorry, I'm just catching up on notifications and stuff. There was I had a call from a guy right before I went live, actually. That was super nice. He said he saw the channel, was looking to get like a 2010 CRV tinted, and then we were talking for a little bit about some different options and stuff, and it was just super cool to actually hear inquiry. Like, he's like, yeah, I saw the channel. I like want to hear more about what you have to offer and just the whole spectrum. It's really encouraging to just like, versus some other people, like I think I picked up for somebody just on the phone, and it was definitely just about 100% about price. They were just being nice about it. Oh, did somebody approve? Ooh, what is this one? 950. Oh, is this the model? Oh, this is the 2020 Model 3. Ooh, that is a big one. 950. What are we doing? Are we doing the full? Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on this proposal. Oh, yeah, my blazer's on here. That was 50% on the windshield. Sorry, I'm like, oh, you can't see some of it. That's your Model 3. What are we doing to it? Dang, thank you. This will be a fun one. You're going full ceramic on the Model 3, so that's all the sides, back, and full windshield. We're not removing any film or anything, right? We got to figure out what shade you want to go with at the back so I can special order a roll for you, because we got to order an oversized one for the back. Best brands to buy in bulk. Every film that you buy is going to be in bulk. So you're pretty much going to order 50 or 100-foot rolls. More often than not, 100, but when you're just starting, you can squeak by on like 50-foot rolls. But like Geo, Sun Distributing, Tint Depot. Front, side, rear, nothing to remove. It's stock. Okay, cool, sweet. That's super cool. So Steve in the chat just approved a proposal for a Model 3 Model 3 Performance. We're going to do full ceramic on the whole thing. Diggity dang, that's going to be a big job. We'll stream the whole thing, man. I've done one Model 3 live before. We'll do yours too. We'll set aside, I got to set aside a full day for that one. It'll be a big job. Thank you, sir. And then the only shade that I actually need to know ahead of time is what we're going to do on the back window. Everything else, so it's going to be ceramic. I got to order a 60-inch wide roll. And then whatever we're going to do in that shade, that's the only one you need to know ahead of time. Everything else can be whatever. Because they're all normal sizes there. So I'll give you a call. We'll figure it out. You have the life every tinner wants to live. It's good and bad. I mean, it's definitely less stressful, but sometimes it drive me crazy too. But yeah, it's not as hectic as what it used to be. So, alrighty. Well, I guess with that, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I didn't look at my calendar. What do I have next? I don't know. When is the next one? I think tomorrow. Friday. I need to do better. Should be live tomorrow. But I don't know which one. I don't know if it's my early morning or my later one. What type of ceramic? I used Geo Pro Nano. It's good. It's good. I like it. Alrighty. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. It's nice that we could go a little bit over and just hang out for a minute. I like to just stand here. Watching you stream takes my stress away. Oh, dang. Sun Distributing coming in and sniping my viewers. Guys, if you go to the Sun Distributing YouTube channel, you can see them go live. Can I bring that up? I'll copy a link for you guys. They're not live now, so we can't raid them. Oh, you do have your little link. Nice. There we go. Mad Tank giveaway for 100,000. 100,000 subs. We'll never get there. We'll never give it away. Alrighty, guys. I will see you later. You guys can go hang out there. I'll probably be hanging out in the chat a little bit, and then I gotta wrap this. Well, it's wrapped up, but I gotta deliver this one. So y'all have a good one. I'll probably see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Bye.